head of the Foreign Policy Agency, Andrei Dunayev will be the Minister of Internal Affairs, and Ivanenko will be the Russian KGB chairman. The new Russian government reviewed the emergency economic reform measures. The main issue was social protection during the introduction of market prices. Also reviewed were new minimum wages and a regular review of these minimum wages. Some of Yeltsin's economic decrees will be announced tomorrow. The People's Deputies in Belarus discussed the armed forces. The Republic needs to have its own army to guarantee Belarusian sovereignty. All speakers agreed with the need for a defense ministry of Belarus, but noted that the military buildup must be tied to economic development. As a sovereign state, Belarus cannot afford to waste money on the large army and for security. In Moldova, local clashes between inhabitants of Gagauzia and the police. The Internal Ministry of Moldova officials claim that the situation remains tense. Some claim that the people are seeking out police to have vengeance. Others claim that people are seeking out arms. In Kiev, the Presidium of the Supreme Soviet ordered the Republic National Bank to sign an agreement for the introduction of Ukrainian money before December 1st, 1991. The new currency is to be introduced in the first half of 1992. In the Donetsk region for several days, there has been no gas provisions for private cars. This picture can be seen in any city of the Donetsk region. There are thousands of cars immobilized. This is the most densely populated and most industrialized area of the Ukraine. Cars are immobilized. Public transportation is barely working. Russia did not deliver oil. Oil delivery shortfalls from Russia have amounted to over 1 million tons of oil. Ambulances are not even working. People are very angry that we're like little kids. We need to help the kids. We need to deliver bread. Bread, food, milk, children. We're being mocked. If this continues, city transportation will stop completely. In the Donbass, the mine workers need to be brought to work. There's 3 shifts working at the mines who are left without transportation. This could lead to social explosions. For the 3rd day in Grozny, in the Chechen-English area, there are no political rallies. The central squares have calmed down, but there is no true peace. The state of military emergency is still in force. The National Guards are walking throughout the city. The last few days, there have been several terrorist acts committed inside the Republic. So far, the fate of the dean of the Chechen English State University, Viktor Kankalin, is still unknown. He was kidnapped 3 days ago. His assistant was killed at the same time. The National Guard has been shot at and soldiers have have been wounded. There's an attempted assassination of the commander of the National Guards, Ruslan Shamailov. He was shot in the chest. There's an investigation of the murder of a KGB officer committed a few days ago. Criminal activity has greatly risen. 20 cars have been stolen in the city of Grozny alone. Rumors that the internal ministry has gone on strike. That's not true. Vladikavkaz, the Supreme Soviet of Northern Ossetia, has decided to create a Republic National Guards and to form a Republic Defense Committee. This step is taken due to an increased threat to the population of the Republic of Ossetia. The threats are growing to the population of Northern Ossetia. A few days ago, the road between Vladikavkaz and Tsinvali was dangerous, but still passable. Today, the road can be driven on only with armored units defending you. There's a dispute about Northern Ossetian territory, a dispute between the Ossetians and the Georgians. In the struggle, so far, 98 Ossetian villages have been destroyed, numerous victims have been killed and wounded, every fifth young girl is mourning. You can see this as you walk through our city. I can't even describe what's going on. There's pain throughout all of Ossetia. Soviet Interior Ministry troops are being dragged into the struggle. Colonel Gorilov, the leader of this unit, says that his troops have been induced to fire upon assailants, firing upon the city of Tsinvali. November 12th, Georgian village. In the Georgian village, 2 drivers and the lieutenant were killed. Vetlich, the lieutenant's name has 32 bullets in his body. Today there was a mass mourning demonstration in Tsinvali, and the street will be named in the lieutenant's honor. And today, in the Kremlin, President Gorbachev met the Indian foreign minister. The Indian foreign minister is in the USSR with an official visit. The Gorbachev and he discussed relations between the two nations, the slowdown in trade volume, discussed the problems of Soviet deliveries to India, including oil, and problems of Indian exports of consumer products to the USSR. Ways to overcome the situation were discussed. Gorbachev gave an interview to the German magazine Stern. He discussed Soviet-German relations in light of yesterday's State Council session. The interview was held on the first-year anniversary of major German humanitarian aid deliveries to the Soviet Union. The interview will be published in the Soviet press also. Tonight, Gorbachev met with the famous Russian artist Mikhail Shemyakin, who lives in New York. He left the Soviet Union 20 years ago. Shemyakin has organized the International Committee to free Soviet POWs in Afghanistan. He told the president about his upcoming trip to Pakistan to talk to the Mujahideen. Shemyakin also helps Soviet children and was planning to open the Museum of Contemporary Art in the Soviet Union. Today in Moscow, talks with the Afghan opposition have been concluded. After 4 days of discussion, a declaration was signed condemning the Soviet invasion and also an agreement to transfer authority to an Islamic government in Afghanistan. The Mujahideen promised to hold elections within 2 years under the auspices of the Islamic Confederation and the UN. The Mujahideen also promised to free the first group of Soviet POWs before December 1st, 1992. The Soviet side promised to stop arms shipments to the Kabul regime, also by December 1st, 1992. Secretary of State Baker and his wife arrived at Peking today to discuss human rights and Chinese arms deals with the Middle East. Baker will also discuss trade and the issue of the Chinese use of prison labor. The Bulgarian Socialist Party held a rally in Sofia today, outraged over the confiscation of party property by the government. The Socialist Party demanded the return of their property, which is allegedly bought at the expense of private donations of party members. A new law on the archives of the East German secret police, the Stasi. After 2 years of the debate, the Stasi has vast archives of documents on 4 million people in East Germany and 2 million people in West Germany.